Uh, these are acrylics I did last summer. Uh, the first two are based on a discovery when I went to Google to get some information. Unexpectedly, I found out that my house, when I was a kid, um, was advertised as a rug and carpet cleaning place in my hometown in Binghamton. And that knocked me out because I just couldn't imagine it being full of toxic fumes and all this other stuff. Turns out there's no signs on the house or anything like that. It's probably somebody caught in financial bind who just advertised that they would be able to clean carpets. Anyway, I decided to do something representing that, and this is my mom um, vacuuming rugs out in front of the house, and my dad bringing the rugs out for her to vacuum, and my sister Pat looking down from the second floor at this whole proceeding. Um, the interesting thing for me was using the acrylics so thin, the idea of really getting to watercolor level of acrylics, and that's what this is. It was done larger, and I had to cut them down because I wanted to put them in books that only went to 18 by 24. So this is on Bristol board acrylics, and they're originally done 23 by 29, but now they're 18 by 24. One of them isn't. This is my mom feeding little piglets in front of the house. That's my old Chevy back there that I had. Now, when she was a kid, they had these pets that she called Jimmy and Nellie, and they would disappear every so often and reappear again, the same little piglets. And one day she saw her father talking to the traveling butcher. We're talking about 1910 or somewhere around there in a small coal mining town of Pennsylvania. And after that, she realized, because they had pork chops that week, she realized they've been eating her pets ever since. So here is a made-up image. My mom did not have piglets around our house. This is my dad, or Jack, I'm not sure which, I think it's my dad, feeding my mourning doves that I have here in New York that come to my window, and I feed them bird seed. And so I decided that I would have my father feed them from the past. And he used to feed squirrels in front of our house. We'd knock a couple of walnuts together, and the squirrels would come down from the trees, which have long since gone. They had a elm blight in Binghamton, and all those great trees disappeared, including the ones on my street. So this is an image of my dad feeding the mourning doves. They look a little large for mourning doves, but that's what they're meant to be. Now this is my sister feeding my dog when I was a kid, because she was the one that brought the dog home originally. It's my older sister by 4 years. And we all, my older brother, my younger brother, myself, were all contributed a quarter, which mysteriously appeared, to have our share in the dog. It turns out I was the one that was the major companion. But the dog has the markings of my present cat, except for his face. So it's really a combination, and the tail turns up at the end like my cat's tail does, my cat Blur. So that's the story behind that. And now my Chevy's facing the other direction from the first Chevy, my mom image. This whole series was supposed to honor the two buildings I've lived in. This building I've lived in for 46 years, And that building I lived in from the age of my hometown building I lived in from the age of 7 to 18. So they were formative years. This is the roof of this building in New York City, my loft. It's right above me. I'm on the top floor, so this is basically my roof. I had my mom back in the cleaning mode because she was a clean freak, sweeping the roof, kind of an endless task. And my character, Sally, not my sister Pat, but still based on her look, is climbing on a skylight from her bike, which is kind of bizarre that she'd have a bike on the roof, but that's my artistic freedom. And then she ends up sitting on the top of the skylight just gazing at the city, which is something I'd like to do, but I've never done because that skylight is very rickety and there's glass and all kinds of things that wouldn't be a good idea, and so I never did that, but Sally can do that. I'm surprised how I took the using the acrylic so lightly, so thinly. I'm able to fix certain things up by putting gesso on it, repainting it, so I get to shine off of the reflected light, so it still maintains a watercolor look. Now this is my Jack character, and this is the only one I kept the same size as it was when I finished it, 23 by 29, because there wasn't anything I could cut off without really hurting the dynamics of the picture, so I kept it the same size. And Jack is looking down to 28th Street from the roof, while above him is the mourning doves sweeping and diving. Originally, I had a hawk attacking the top mourning dove, which both of them have disappeared. And I thought that you're just awkward looking, and I think way too many messages. I don't know. The message here is not very clear, which I prefer, I think, than the specific message of the previous idea. And that's it.